Right now, our time has moved on to 1 minute on the downside of 8 o'clock. Thank you for joining us here on Up and Go with Richard B. here on the bridge. 99 FM to the world. We're on 99 FM across Jamaica, and we are, in fact, streaming around the world at www.thebridge99fm.com. We welcome you now to a new segment, and this starts off the hour every Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. We do have Real Estate Today. Like we've been telling you, today's topic, rather interesting topic. Can landlords legally require tenants to get the COVID-19 vaccine? This morning we'll be joined by Howard Johnson Jr. of Howard Johnson Realty Limited and Stephen Jackson Esquire, an attorney at law, who will be our guests. But just let me tell you, with businesses, hospitals, and several other institutions mandating employees and visitors to be vaccinated against COVID-19, some may wonder whether landlords have the authority to do the same for their tenants.
Thank you.
We're also joined by Mr. Stephen Jackson Esquire, an attorney at law at Samuda and Johnson, attorneys at law. Good morning, Stephen. Welcome. How are you doing?
Good morning, Richie. I'm doing very well. And you?
Not too bad at all. Happy to have you on the program for the first time, and I hope it will not be the last.
I hope so as well.
All right. So they know by now, or listeners know by now, the topic that we're looking at. I have to ask you at the start, though, Stephen, is it legally possible for landlords to require tenants to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
So currently there is no legal framework which allows a landlord to mandate or to require a tenant to take the COVID-19 vaccine. What we do have in our law, by way of statutory provision, is the Rent Restriction Act. And for the benefit of your listeners, this act really governs the relationship between the landlord and tenant, and it goes on to create certain bodies that govern that relationship as well. And I'm going to read for you what the section says. Section 25, 5 of the act says, nothing in this act shall prevent the making of an order for the ejectment of any person where in the opinion of the court, is asked to make the order, the ejectment is important or expedient for the protection of the public health or public safety. So we have to make a distinction here. Whilst the landlord cannot mandate for a person to take the COVID-19 vaccine, they can, however, apply to the court for an order to seek the ejectment of any tenant if and the court now would have to consider the facts of the application to say, yes, it would be expedient to protect the public health or safety.
To the best of your knowledge, has any such matter been brought before the courts here?
Currently, I have not heard of any application as such yet.
Well, on the subject of protection, though, Stephen, what protection, if any, do tenants or landlords have against this potential mandate?
The Rent Restriction Act, again, gives some form of protection to both landlords and tenants as it relates to the ejectment. And it goes back to Section 25.5 of the Rent Restriction Act. So our law has not graduated to the stage where we have COVID-19 laws specifically legislated by Parliament to deal with the issue. So currently there's a debate going on as to whether or not any such law, if passed, will be constitutional. And one of my learned seniors indicated publicly that the important thing for it to be considered constitutional is whether or not the law is properly drafted. So now the law would have to take into consideration the rights and responsibilities of both landlord and tenant and see how best, in light of the pandemic, that relationship can be fostered to ensure that both parties remain on equal footing.
Okay. Let me bring back the realtor to the discussion. Howie, in your experience, what provisions do landlords have to make to accommodate new tenants, especially during this time?
Well, it's just a simple matter of having frank discussions with your pending tenants, just to ensure that they understand, especially the fact if they're looking to share space. Sometimes you have the landlord-tenant relationships that's separate. The landlord is nowhere to be found, and you have the whole house to yourself. You now control your space. The landlord, upon moving in, can make sure the place is sanitized, and they put a little sticker on the door that it's not broken. And when it's broken, you are the first one to go in there. And ever since from there on, you are now in full control of your space.
Yeah.
But if you are in a community or in a house that has the landlord there and they have, their families there, then it's a reasonable discussion to have where you say, you're living with me here in this community, in this house, in this yard, and we would love to see if we can get everyone in the home vaccinated over a period of time. It's a frank discussion that I believe that persons need to have, and the landlord just need to accommodate that. But ultimately, it's a contract. If the landlord is stipulating COVID or any other conditions that you do not agree with, then there are options. You can go elsewhere. But if the landlord really is a stickler for having these things mandated, then it's up to you whether or not you want to challenge it. Is it worth it, or do you want to start out on that contentious note, or do you want to just subscribe to what they're asking and participate and come to an amicable solution?
Okay, let me put a scenario to you, Stephen. Someone is facing eviction as a result of their refusal to get the COVID-19 vaccine. What advice would you give to that individual?
Well, the first advice I'd give them is to seek the assistance of an attorney at law, someone who is competent in the law and can seek redress on their behalf. That attorney now will be required to know the law on the area specifically and to make an application to the court or to the relevant statutory body that could assist their client in getting some form of redress. Also, our law does not provide for forcible eviction by a landlord. So the client or the person seeking redress can go to the police, and the police can assist in those circumstances. Because the law does not provide for any sort of forcible eviction by way of not taking the COVID-19 vaccine.
Okay, all right. Very important advice. And you notice he said the first thing is consult with your attorney at law for advice. How have you encountered any such mandate by landlords since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic?
No, not by landlords, but I will tell you, last week when I was on my way to Mobay, I had to travel with a team of vaccinated staff members because the meeting that we were going to, it was stipulated that all attendees must be fully vaccinated.
Oh, wow.
So it is happening in different spheres, but I haven't encountered it with landlord and tenants just yet.
Okay. Let's move on to the tip of the day as time is of the essence. What is your tip that you want to share with us this morning?
Well, to reduce the chances of disputes or issues later, it's a wise move to closely scrutinize your tenancy agreement before you sign it, to make sure that you actually know what your obligations are and what rules and conditions you must adhere to. And it goes beyond just COVID. It also includes bylaws for different communities. So you want to make sure that you're not just rushing to move in, but you're signing to all the terms and conditions that you're going to ultimately be responsible for.
All right. We're now moving on to our next item on the agenda, and that is going but not yet gone.
Yes, sir.
You got a deal for us. Let's hear it.
Okay, we're back in Kingston now. Available for rent is a cozy studio apartment. It is located in close proximity to the prime business districts such as New Kingston, Ligonier, and Barbican. It's in the Golden Triangle area. The rent is inclusive of utilities, water, electricity, and gas. And for your comfort during those hot days of working from home, there's an AC package available that provides you with 12 hours of usage of the air conditioning unit per day for an additional charge of $8,400 per month. Don't wait too long. This unit is actually going. We showed it at least 4 times yesterday, and I'm not sure we got an offer yet, but we're asking 80,000 Jamaican dollars for this studio with all the amenities that are provided that we just mentioned. And we're asking you to contact Denise Tucker at 876-404-5842. That's Denise Tucker at 404-5842, or send her an email, denese@hjrealtors.com.
All right. Good luck with that, Denise. I think it's going to be going very, very
if not
soon.
gone.
Yeah. All right. I want to thank you, Stephen Jackson. By the way, where can you be found, Stephen?
I can be found at the law firm of Samuda Johnson. We're at 15 Trinidad Terrace, Kingston 5. That's in New Kingston.
Thank you for your legal perspectives this morning, and thank you, Howard. Howard, you want to share with us before you go where Howard Johnson Realty can be found?
Okay, we're at unit number 15, Ligony Post Mall. That's 115 Hope Road, just across from Sovereign Center. You can visit us on our website, hjrealtors.com, or on social media using the hashtag or username at hjrealtors. You can send us a WhatsApp at 876-339-6282 or call our offices at 876-620-1457.
And your website?
www.hjrealtors.com.
All right. Thank you, Howard Johnson Jr., and thank you again, Stephen Jackson. Have yourselves a great day, and we look forward to being here with you for Real Estate Today next Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock right here on the bridge.
Richie, I know your secret sound, you know.
Yeah.
I know your secret sound.
Really?
Yes, man.
You need to tell me off the air. But for those who don't, work on it, because at 8:30 we've got the giveaways for you. Howie says he knows it. Do you know this? That is our secret sound. Find out from Howie. Take him off camera so they don't even get a chance to read his lips or anything what he's saying. But we're going to find out. Let's get back to the music right now at 15 past 8.